The Taal volcano in the Philippines has thrown molten rock into the sky, triggering official warnings that a hazardous eruption of toxic gas may be imminent.
Did you know that some of the most stunning natural wonders on Earth are shrouded in mystery? Despite decades of research, scientists still can't fully explain how certain landforms came to be. What makes them so unique? And why do they continue to puzzle experts? Join us as we uncover 17 of the world's most mysterious landforms that defy explanation. Kaindy Lake. Kaindy Lake in Kazakhstan is one of the most unusual lakes in the world. It was created in 1911 after a massive limestone landslide in the Tian Shan Mountains. A landslide blocked a river, forming a deep lake that stretches approximately 400 meters in length and reaches a maximum depth of nearly 30 meters. Over time, the valley filled with water, submerging a dense forest of spruce trees. What makes this lake stand out is that the trees did not decay completely. Instead, they remain standing beneath the water, looking much like an underwater forest. The trunks of these trees have provided a perfect surface for algae and other aquatic plants to grow, making the submerged forest even more unique. Another fascinating feature of Kaindy Lake is the way its water changes color. Depending on the minerals present in the water, the lake can appear in different shades of blue or green. The clarity of the water allows people to see deep into the lake and observe the preserved trees beneath the surface. The mineral content also affects the way light interacts with the water, giving it an almost unnatural glow. Reaching Kaindy Lake is not easy. It is located in a remote part of Kazakhstan, far from any major city. The lake sits at an altitude of over 6,000 feet, which means visitors have to travel through rugged mountain terrain to get there. This difficulty in access has helped maintain its untouched beauty. Kaindy Lake is also a place of local legends. Some people believe the lake has mystical powers, while others tell stories of spirits guarding the submerged forest. Whether or not these stories are true, visitors continue to be captivated by the lake's mystery and beauty. Ayers Rock. Uluru, also known as Ayers Rock, is a massive sandstone monolith located in the heart of Australia. This iconic formation is famous for its striking red color, which becomes especially vibrant during sunset. It stands about 1,142 feet tall and is one of the most recognizable natural landmarks in the world. Geologically, Uluru was once part of a much larger mountain range. Over millions of years, the forces of erosion slowly wore away the surrounding land, leaving behind this giant rock formation. Despite being so large, Uluru is actually just the tip of the iceberg, as much of it is buried underground. For the Anangu people, the indigenous group that has lived in the region for thousands of years, Uluru is a sacred site. According to their Dreamtime myths, the rock was created by their ancestors and is considered a living place that holds spiritual significance. The Anangu believe that the spirits of their ancestors still live within Uluru, making it a place of deep respect and reverence. The Devil's Tower. Devil's Tower in Wyoming is one of the strangest rock formations in the United States. It rises 867 feet above the surrounding plains and stands completely alone, with no other similar formations nearby. One of the most striking features of Devil's Tower is its unusual rock pattern. The sides of the tower are made up of long, vertical columns of rock that have a hexagonal shape. These columns fit together almost perfectly, making the entire structure look like it was carved by hand rather than formed naturally. Though geologists understand how these kinds of columns form due to cooling and shrinking magma, their perfect arrangement at Devil's Tower makes the place feel almost unnatural. Scientists have studied it for years, and while there is some debate, the most widely accepted theory suggests that it formed through volcanic activity millions of years ago. This idea, called the volcanic intrusion theory, suggests that magma is pushed up from below the Earth's surface and then cooled and hardened into rock. Over time, the softer surrounding rock eroded away, leaving only the solid core behind. While there is no evidence of a surface volcanic crater, geologists believe the rock formations suggest volcanic activity beneath the surface. Without proof of lava flows or a volcanic crater, the exact origins of Devil's Tower remain a mystery. For Native American tribes, Devil's Tower has deep spiritual meaning. According to a well-known legend, a group of girls was being chased by a giant bear. To protect them, The Great Spirit made the ground rise beneath their feet, creating the tower. The bear tried to climb it but only managed to leave deep claw marks on the sides. Many tribes still consider the site sacred today. Socotra. Socotra is an island in Yemen that has been separated from the mainland for millions of years. Because of this isolation, plants and animals on the island evolved in ways that are completely different from anywhere else in the world. Scientists say that about 1/3 of the plant species found on Socotra cannot be seen anywhere else on Earth. This makes the island one of the most unique places for biodiversity. One of the most famous trees on the island is the dragon's blood tree. It has an umbrella-like shape with thick branches, and its name comes from the red sap that flows from its trunk. People have used this sap for centuries in medicine, dyes, and even religious rituals. Another plant that stands out is the desert rose. It has a swollen trunk that stores water, allowing it to survive in the island's dry climate. This tree also produces bright pink flowers, making it look unlike any other plant in the region. The landscape of Socotra is just as unusual as its plants. The island has strange rock formations, caves, and cliffs, giving it a unique appearance. Its wildlife is just as special. There are birds, reptiles, and insects that live only on Socotra. The Socotra sunbird, for example, has bright-colored feathers and is found nowhere else. There are also rare geckos, skinks, and spiders that have adapted to the island's harsh conditions in ways that are different from their relatives in other parts of the world. Local folklore adds to the island's mystery. Stories say that Socotra was once home to giants who planted the dragon's blood trees. Many people also believe that the red sap of the tree has magical properties, making it valuable in ancient traditions. The Giant's Causeway. The Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland is a natural wonder made up of about 40,000 interlocking basalt columns. These rock formations were created by volcanic activity around 50 to 60 million years ago. When lava erupted from the earth and flowed over the land, it cooled down quickly. As it hardened, the rock cracked into geometric shapes. The process is similar to how mud dries and cracks, but on a much larger scale. Over time, wind, rain, and waves helped shape the columns into what they are today. According to legend, the causeway was built by an Irish giant named Finn McCool. The story says that Finn had a rival across the sea in Scotland named Benandonna. To reach him, Finn built a massive stone path across the water. But when Finn saw how big Benandonna was, he ran home. His clever wife disguised him as a baby. When Benandonna arrived and saw the baby, he assumed the father must be even bigger and fled, destroying the causeway behind him. The most fascinating part of the Giant's Causeway is the shape of the columns. Most of them are hexagonal, which seems almost too precise to be natural. Some are taller, some are shorter, but they fit together like a puzzle. Scientists say this is because of the way lava cools and contracts evenly. Another interesting feature is how the rocks change color depending on the light. When the sun is high, the rocks look golden brown. When it is cloudy or raining, they take on a darker, almost black appearance. With different angles of light, the entire area can shift in tone, making each visit feel unique. The combination of science and myth makes the Giant's Causeway a place of wonder. Mount Roraima. Mount Roraima is one of the most fascinating mountains in the world. It is a tabletop mountain, meaning it has a flat top instead of a peak. Mount Roraima is part of the ancient Guiana Shield, which has rock formations dating back around 2 billion years. The mountain is located where Venezuela, Brazil, and Guyana meet, standing at about 9,200 feet tall. Its steep, sheer cliffs make it look almost like a natural fortress. Because Mount Roraima is so isolated, its ecosystem is unique. The high plateau is separated from the surrounding forests, so plants and animals have evolved differently from those found elsewhere. This has led to rare species that exist only on Roraima. The surface of the mountain is covered with unusual rock formations, many of which have been shaped by wind and rain for millions of years. Some of these formations look like ruins or strange sculptures, which has led to speculation about lost civilizations, although no evidence supports this idea. One of the most interesting plants found on Mount Roraima is the Roraima pitcher plant, a type of carnivorous plant that traps insects. Other plants have also adapted to the harsh conditions of the plateau. tiny black frogs found only on the mountain have evolved to hop very little, likely because there are no predators to escape from. Indigenous people in the region see Mount Roraima as sacred. According to local myths, it was once the stump of a giant world tree that was cut down, and its fall created rivers and landscapes. The mountain continues to be an important part of their spiritual beliefs, making it not just a natural wonder, but a cultural treasure as well. Vlei. Vlei, located in Namibia's Namib Desert, is a dry clay pan that was once a thriving oasis. Hundreds of years ago, the Zhangye River used to flow into the area, creating a marshland where trees and plants flourished. However, over time, massive sand dunes slowly shifted and cut off the water supply. Without water, life in Vlei began to disappear, leaving behind a landscape that has remained unchanged for nearly 1,000 years. One of the most fascinating things about Vlei is its ancient camelthorn trees. These trees died around 900 years ago, but because the air is so dry, they never fully decomposed. Instead, they have remained standing, their dark, twisted forms preserved by the extreme desert conditions. They are not petrified, but the harsh environment has prevented them from rotting away. The climate in Vlei is incredibly harsh. The region receives almost no rainfall, and daytime temperatures can soar to over 113 degrees Fahrenheit, while nights can be freezing. The clay ground is so dry that it has cracked into patterns, and the towering sand dunes surrounding Vlei are some of the highest in the world. The iron-rich sand gives the dunes a deep red-orange color, adding to the area's unusual appearance. Even though the world has many deserts, Vlei is unlike any other. Unlike the rolling sand dunes of the Sahara or the rocky landscapes of the Atacama Desert, Vlei's combination of bleached clay, dark tree skeletons and towering red dunes makes it stand out. It is a place where time seems to have stopped, and its eerie stillness is a reminder of how powerful nature can be in shaping the land over centuries. Moeraki Boulders. The Moeraki Boulders in New Zealand are large, almost perfectly round rocks that sit along Causeway beach on the country's South Island. These boulders did not roll onto the shore from the ocean, nor were they shaped by waves. Instead, they formed naturally over millions of years through a slow geological process. The formation of these boulders started deep underground. They grew in layers, much like how a pearl forms inside an oyster. This process is called concretion, where minerals in the sediment slowly gather around a central core. Over time, these minerals harden, creating solid rock. It took around 4 to 5 million years for these boulders to reach their current size. Eventually, erosion from wind and water wore away the softer surrounding rock, exposing the boulders we see today. For the Maori people, the Moeraki Boulders have a different explanation. According to legend, they are the remains of calabashes, kumara, and eel baskets that washed ashore after the wreck of a legendary canoe called the Araturu. This story gives the boulders a special cultural significance, connecting them to the region's rich heritage. What makes these boulders so fascinating is their incredible roundness and large size. Some are as small as a basketball, while others are over 2 meters wide. Their nearly perfect shapes make them look as if they were sculpted by hand. Scientists understand the natural process behind their formation, but it is still rare to find boulders this symmetrical in nature. Pamukkale. Pamukkale, often called the Cotton Castle, is a stunning natural site in Turkey, famous for its bright white travertine terraces. These terraces are made of mineral-rich deposits formed by the hot springs that flow down the mountainside. Over centuries, the waters, filled with calcium carbonate, have built up on the slopes, leaving behind solid white formations that resemble frozen waterfalls. The result is a breathtaking landscape of gleaming white pools and terraces that people from all over the world visit. The formation of Pamukkale is a natural process that has taken thousands of years. The thermal spring waters, which are heated by volcanic activity underground, flow over the hillside. As the water cools, it leaves behind calcium carbonate deposits. These deposits gradually form into the terraces and pools that make Pamukkale so famous today. The process continues, with fresh layers of minerals being deposited each year, keeping the site constantly evolving. Pamukkale has not only a natural beauty, but also a rich history. Thermal waters have been used for their therapeutic properties for thousands of years. The ancient Romans built the city of Hierapolis nearby, and they believed the waters had healing qualities. Many people still visit Pamukkale today for the same reasons, hoping to benefit from the mineral-rich waters and the relaxing atmosphere. Whether for health, relaxation, or simply the beauty of the landscape, Pamukkale continues to attract visitors, making it a site of both ancient and modern significance. Vulcan Point. Vulcan Point in the Philippines is a truly unique landform. It is a small volcanic island that sits inside a lake, which itself is inside a volcano, which is on an island, surrounded by another lake. This strange arrangement makes it one of the most unusual geological features in the world. Located within Taal volcano in the province of Batangas, it has fascinated scientists and tourists alike for many years. Taal volcano, one of the most active volcanoes in the Philippines, has a long history of eruptions. It is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region known for intense volcanic and seismic activity. Taal's many eruptions have reshaped its surroundings over time. Despite this, Vulcan Point has managed to survive, standing as a small but stubborn piece of land in the middle of a constantly shifting environment. What makes Vulcan Point even more remarkable is its endurance. When Taal volcano erupted in January 2020, it sent massive plumes of ash into the sky and caused widespread damage in surrounding areas. Many feared that the eruption would erase Vulcan Point, but when the dust settled, the tiny island was still there. However, the eruption did change the appearance of the lake and the surrounding land, making the area even more unpredictable. The Mount Erebus Ice Towers. Mount Erebus in Antarctica is the world's southernmost active volcano. It is a rare sight, a fiery mountain surrounded by a frozen wasteland. Despite the extreme cold, this volcano is constantly active, with lava bubbling inside its crater. However, one of its most fascinating features is not the lava, but the strange ice towers that form around it. These ice towers are created when the heat from the volcano meets the freezing Antarctic air. Steam escapes from deep inside the earth through cracks in the volcano's surface. When the steam rises into the icy atmosphere, it quickly freezes, forming hollow chimneys of ice. Over time, the steam continues to flow through these frozen vents, slowly adding layers of ice to the towers and making them grow taller. Some of these towers can reach up to 60 feet high. What makes these ice towers even more interesting is that they are constantly changing. The steam keeps shaping the ice, sometimes breaking parts of it down and sometimes building it up. New vents can open, creating fresh towers, while old ones collapse and disappear. This gives Mount Erebus a landscape that seems to be alive, always shifting and evolving. Another unusual feature of these towers is their glowing effect. Because the ice is so pure, sunlight passes through, giving it an eerie bluish glow. Scientists and explorers who visit the region are amazed by their strange beauty. Despite the harsh environment, tiny microorganisms have been found living inside these ice vents, making it a place of scientific interest. Haukadalur. Haukadalur in Iceland is a fascinating and active area known for its incredible geothermal activity. It's home to some of the most famous geysers in the world, where hot water and steam shoot up from deep beneath the Earth's surface. The field sits in an area that's rich with volcanic and geothermal energy, making it one of Iceland's most visited spots. One of the most famous geysers is Strokkur. Strokkur is well known for its predictable eruptions, which happen roughly every 5 to 10 minutes. It shoots hot water high into the air, sometimes reaching up to 98 feet. This regular pattern is what makes it so fascinating to visitors and scientists alike. People can always count on seeing it erupt, making it a popular attraction. Another geyser in the area, Geysir, was once much more active and could erupt to impressive heights. However, in recent years, it has become less reliable, erupting only on rare occasions. This unpredictable behavior makes it a bit of a mystery. While scientists have some ideas about why it's become dormant, it still surprises everyone when it does erupt. Apart from the geysers, the Haukadalur area also has bubbling mud pools and fumaroles, where steam rises from cracks in the ground. These features create a fascinating and eerie landscape, as the Earth seems to be constantly boiling. The ground is alive with geothermal energy, creating a unique environment where hot water and steam interact with the cooler air. Danxia landform. The Danxia landform, located in China's Gansu-gu and Hunan provinces, is a stunning natural wonder known for its vibrant, colorful rock formations. It's often called the Rainbow Mountains because of the striking array of reds, oranges, yellows, and greens that paint the landscape. This landform is not just beautiful but also one of nature's most impressive geological features. The creation of the Danxia landform began millions of years ago. The area was once covered by layers of sand, silt, and other sediments. Over time, these layers compressed and hardened into sandstone. Erosion gradually shaped the land into its current form, creating cliffs, ridges, and valleys. The vivid colors that make Danxia so famous come from the minerals present in the rock, particularly iron oxide, which gives the red and orange hues. Other minerals contribute to the yellow and green tones, making the landform appear like a natural rainbow. However, there is still some mystery surrounding the exact conditions that led to the incredible colors and shapes we see today. The combination of factors that resulted in such distinct coloration and the specific erosion patterns is still not fully understood. This lack of clarity adds an element of intrigue to the landform, making it even more captivating for scientists and visitors alike. Mount Thor. Mount Thor, located on Baffin Island in Canada's Nunavut territory, is famous for having the world's greatest vertical drop. Its cliff face plunges an astonishing 4,100 feet, making it a remarkable feature in the Arctic landscape. Despite not being as tall as Mount Everest, Mount Thor's sheer cliff, which rises almost directly above the valley floor, is what makes it so unique. The cliff itself has an almost gravity-defying overhang, slanting at a 105-degree angle. This gives it a striking visual appearance, adding to its mystique. Mount Thor's isolation in the Arctic adds to the challenges faced by climbers. The harsh, remote location is surrounded by extreme weather, with temperatures often dropping well below freezing, even during the summer months. This makes the mountain difficult to access and even harder to climb. The mountain's extreme conditions and technical difficulty make it one of the most challenging climbs in the world. Although it isn't the tallest peak, its sheer cliff and the unpredictable Arctic environment make it a serious test of human endurance. Only a few climbers have successfully reached the summit, with many facing obstacles along the way. The 12 Apostles. The 12 Apostles are a series of limestone stacks located along Australia's Great Ocean Road, rising dramatically from the Southern Ocean. These towering natural formations are one of the most recognizable landmarks in the country, attracting tourists from all over the world. Despite the name 12 Apostles, only 8 of these iconic stacks remain today. The story of the 12 Apostles begins with constant erosion caused by the powerful waves and wind of the Southern Ocean. Over millions of years, the sea relentlessly pounded the soft limestone cliffs. First, caves formed in the rock, then arches appeared as the erosion continued. Eventually, the arches collapsed, leaving behind the isolated freestanding columns we see today. Despite the name 12 Apostles, historical records suggest that there were never exactly 12 stacks at one time. Erosion has continuously shaped the landscape, leading to the collapse of some formations over time. In 2005, one of the stacks tragically fell into the ocean, reducing the number to 8. The remaining formations continue to change, with the sea and weather slowly wearing them down. This constant erosion adds an air of mystery to the 12 Apostles, as each visit can offer a slightly different view depending on the weather and lighting conditions. Isla Bermeja. Isla Bermeja is an island off the coast of the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, shrouded in mystery and intrigue. It first appeared on maps in the 16th century during the Age of Exploration. Spanish cartographers included it on their charts, describing it as a small, reddish island. Over the years, Isla Bermeja became a key landmark in maritime history, especially in the 20th century, when it became crucial in negotiations between Mexico and the United States. The island's existence was tied to maritime boundaries, and if it truly existed, it could have expanded Mexico's territory in the oil-rich Gulf of Mexico. However, the mystery surrounding Isla Bermeja deepened over time. Despite numerous modern expeditions, including the use of satellite imagery and sonar, no trace of the island has ever been found. It raises the question, did it ever exist at all, or was it simply a mistake made by early mapmakers? One plausible theory is that Isla Bermeja may have been a victim of erosion, sinking into the sea due to natural processes like rising sea levels. Some researchers suggest that Isla Bermeja could have been caused by a cartographic error, possibly caused by misinterpretations of early navigation data. Some alternative theories, though lacking concrete evidence, suggest a deliberate cover-up regarding Isla Bermeja's existence. Some have speculated that the island was intentionally erased to alter territorial claims in the Gulf of Mexico. These theories, though lacking solid evidence, add to the enduring mystery of Isla Bermeja. While the true story of the island remains unclear, its disappearance continues to spark debate and fascination. Mount Kailash. Mount Kailash, located in Tibet, is one of the most sacred mountains in the world. Revered by Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and followers of other religions, it holds deep spiritual significance. For Hindus, Mount Kailash is believed to be the home of Lord Shiva, one of the most important deities in their religion. Buddhists consider it a place of enlightenment, while Jains view it as the site where their first spiritual teacher, Rishabdev, achieved liberation. At 21,000 feet, Mount Kailash stands tall with its distinct pyramid-like shape. Its location near the sources of major rivers, including the Indus, Sutlej, and Brahmaputra, only adds to its spiritual importance. These rivers are considered sacred, and the area surrounding the mountain is believed to be the center of the spiritual universe. Although Mount Kailash is famous for its religious significance, no one has ever climbed it. The Chinese government has strictly prohibited any attempts to scale the summit, citing its sacred status. Local legends also warn that anyone who tries to climb the mountain will face disastrous consequences, with many believing that the mountain's spiritual power will punish those who seek to reach its peak. Because of these restrictions and deep respect for the mountain, Mount Kailash remains unclimbed, and its mystical aura continues to draw pilgrims and spiritual seekers from around the world. And that wraps up our journey through some of the most mysterious landforms on our planet. If you enjoyed exploring these incredible places, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more amazing content.